Hey, Eagles fans, John Vittas here as we continue our coaches series, catching up with all of our FGCU head coaches. We're going to talk a little volleyball today. We're joined with Eagles head coach Matt Botsford. Coach Botsford, thanks for some time.
I appreciate it being here. Thanks for having me.
How are things going for you, kind of enjoying time at home?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Haven't had this kind of time at home with the family in quite some time. So there's a silver lining to everything, and that's definitely been for us. But it's no doubt a challenge, and we're trying to navigate that as a family and, of course, as a staff member here in the athletics department.
With a lot of the coaches we've got a chance to catch up with, we've talked about the past season being affected. For your team, it's more the future season that we're a little bit concerned about because you usually start in August. So first of all, before we talk about your amazing team from last year, how are you navigating the summer months here, making sure your players get a little bit of work in while also staying safe?
Yeah, it's difficult. We're trying to stay connected with our team, and thankfully for technology like this, it's possible. But without a doubt, we'd prefer to be doing these things in person, which we often do with summer participants that are here on campus. But now we don't have anybody here; they're spread out across the country. So staying connected is the number one thing. Their relationship with our strength and conditioning coach is something that we've been able to lean on, and I know he's available, and they're really proactive with that. So in terms of the fitness level and the types of things related to strength and conditioning, I feel good about that. There are limitations to what you can do with volleyball. It takes some creativity, but I know the girls are trying to get creative and trying to get touches in any way that they can.
And it's all the schools dealing with the same issues too. So hopefully still in a level playing field once you get going. You did get some good news this spring, which we're all in some dire need of. Amanda Carroll, who's been your star for years now, named the Kavanaugh Scholar Athlete, which is a very prestigious award that FGCU gives out. I mean, I think you've been asked this question 1,000 times, but how do you put into words what Amanda Carroll's meant to your program?
Sure, it's tough to put it into words because she's meant so much since the first day she stepped foot here on campus. Actually, since the first day she made her verbal commitments, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It really affected the trajectory of the program. Of course, when she was here on the court, what she was doing with the Impact Day from that capacity, but also as it related to other people throughout the country, recognizing a high-profile recruit like that, making the decision to come here. She clearly believed in the vision that we had, and it was big. And so I had high expectations for the start, and to be able to say that Amanda surpassed those expectations is really quite something. It amazes me still to this day. Every time I get an opportunity to talk about her, it just makes me think more and more about the kind of person she is outside of the kind of athlete that she is. And it's just been an absolute pleasure to be her coach. And I know that everybody involved with FGC Athletics feels the same way in terms of the impact she has had on a broader scale.
Yeah, she's impacted the campus in a lot of ways and kind of had to take on a smaller role after her big knee injury and still was a major leader for your program last year, having one of the best years you've ever had in Fort Myers. 27-5 record, 14-2 in conference. That's become almost the norm for your program at this point. And of course did have the disappointing loss in the conference championship game to Kennesaw State. But in terms of getting the program to this point, when you look at the big picture, I'm sure a lot of mid-major coaches would love to know, what's the formula? How have you been able to maintain this level of play?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the people that surround the athletics department here play a big part in that. And that is what sold me on the position. And it has played a major factor in a lot of the decision-making for our recruits, incoming recruits, their families, to see what a close-knit group there is here, to see what kind of facilities we have here, to see what kind of educational opportunities exist here, and to, of course, the location doesn't hurt. So there's a whole host of things that play a role, and staff is a big thing. I've been really lucky to have great staff members since I stepped foot here, and their work and their shared vision has really been a big factor too. So once you got those things in place, a lot of it takes care of itself. You've got to attract talented young women, and you've got to help guide them. But you can't win unless you have the talent level, and we've been able to attract some really fine student athletes.
Yeah, we talked about Amanda Carroll, but one player who's kind of approaching all of her records and might surpass some of them is Courtney Van Lew, who's going to be a senior now this year for you. one of the best hitters you've had. Uh, how good has she been, and how has she met your expectations? Because she's become such a dynamic presence.
Yeah. Well, we knew when we were recruiting her that she possessed some dynamic qualities as an athlete, and it was really going to be about her learning how to harness those things and then develop just a little bit more finesse within the game, and become a more multi-dimensional player. And that happened really, really quickly. In fact, I talked earlier about silver linings. Amanda's injury was a very difficult thing for her and our team, but it provided a window of opportunity for someone like Courtney to elevate her game, because we needed her to if we were going to be successful. So that's what we saw happen, is that she shouldered a lot more of the offense. She was asked to do a lot more. And in some situations, that's a little bit too much for a player early on in their career. For Courtney, it was the exact opposite. She embraced it, and she just developed way quicker because of the responsibilities that were increasing as we went along.
And last but not least, as we kind of look forward towards the upcoming fall season, you've of course got Courtney as your top hitter with sophomore Erin Shoemaker, and then your setter Chelsea Lockey, Dana Axner, the libero. But give us another name or two of a couple of athletes that Eagles fans should be aware of going into this 2020 season.
Yeah, well, we one of them that I don't think gets near enough credit is Tori Morris, and her development, especially this sophomore season and towards the end of the sophomore season. You saw this trajectory going up. It was really big for us, and her successes really mirrored the team's successes. So I'm excited to get her back in the gym. She is probably the most gifted pure athlete that we've ever had, and now you can see that the volleyball stuff is becoming a little bit easier for her, and her nose for the game is really improved. You can see it with her blocking. She's just a phenomenal young volleyball player, so I'm excited about that. And then you mentioned Erin Shoemaker, who was freshman of the year. Our fans just got an early glimpse of her, but we're hoping that her development will look a lot like Courtney's and Amanda's during their time in a similar position. And then we actually redshirted two players last year, both Emma Shipshack and Courtney Reynolds. So now they're going to have an opportunity as redshirt freshmen to come in and contribute, and I would expect them to, along with Aja Jones, who got some playing time as a true freshman last year in the middle position. So there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. We've got two new incoming players as well that are going to be joining the group. I think we're going to be it's going to be good.
Yeah, we can't wait to watch your team again as you go for your sixth consecutive 20-win season. Matt Botsford, head coach of FGCU Volleyball, thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much.